Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Canine Connection podcast. Lori and I, before we started recording, just started
Again.
talking about training again, and then we're like, "Oh shoot, we should be recording this. This is because this is really interesting." So, the reality is we're always training and we're always learning and we're always trying to figure things out and trying to make things better for our dogs, right? And ultimately, in our case, we're trying to make our dogs more comfortable in the ring with the understanding that what they are doing in our sport, and I'm not saying this isn't true in most sports, right? Um, is that they're being tested. If they're being tested, what? It's hard, right? There's a reason it's hard. It's a test. Therefore, the dogs are struggling to a certain extent, and there is no way around that. So, in a perfect world, our vision is that we want the dogs in the ring to be happy and comfortable. And to and we have a vision of what that would look like, right? So like I have a vision that looks like Zaina. you know, happy
Hmm.
go lucky, galumping around, hippity hoppitying, prancy pantsing, and basically like unconcerned with the judge and with the environment. So that was beyond a struggle for me to get even remotely close to that with Deal, and I don't really think I achieved it till he was like 8. Um, and so basically we started talking about Lori's dog Ever and my dog Zesty, because they go in the ring and a lot of times they look like they're gonna die, right? And to me, so this is my personal experience. I feel when I watch Zesty, sometimes he looks like I never reinforce him. I never do anything fun with him. Like the way he acts in the ring to me looks like I harass the living shit out of him for fronts and precision, none of which I do. Right? Like he'll trot back on a retrieve. When I tell you I have done thousands of motivational retrieves in every possible way I could possibly think of from puppyhood on, right? Why is he trotting back? And he just looks slow and worried and flat and unsure. And times that will also lead to him failing, making a mistake
Hmm.
because he's all like caught up in his head, right? So you want to talk about your version of that with Ever?
Yeah, it runs very parallel to that where um you know the thing is it's like trait like when we're trait like we always go back, this is the hardest part, right? Like we always talk about this, and to me, like, this is what I tell all my students, like, it is the hardest part getting from training into trialing, like into the ring and getting that optimal performance, right? And my thing with Ever is the same thing. Like when I'm training her, if if obviously, like, same thing, we play the games, I make things motivational because we want to make sure that there's enough in the bank. We want to make sure that they're motivated enough to do the thing. We want to make sure that they have great feelings attached to these behaviors we're asking them to do under the circumstances and the environment we're putting them in, the trial environment. And what happens, I feel like, with Ever is I do a bunch of that. And of course, like, she gets totally like like Zesty, like they go fucking nuts. Like they're totally different in training when we do that. They're fast. They're totally engaged with us. Yeah, confident. I mean, I get barking, I get spins, I get offering, and like that feels good. Like right? Like that, like we love that because that's kind of what we want. That's like you said, like I have this picture in my head. I love whenever looks like that. I love when she's edgy, like that edgy look to her. But in truth, when I go to the trial, I don't get that. Like, this is the problem. Like, I'll go in and same thing. Like, I'll get it a little bit here and there, but then she worries and it is who she is. Like, she totally cares. This dog cares so much about being right. Um, like that is like her number one thing is just to absolutely do the right thing. And if she is like you said, like they get in their head about it. Like if you ever watch ever do articles, you're gonna see she goes out to the pile and she literally like goes from article to article like a poisonous snake's about to freaking bite her in the pile. Like it is like painful to watch and I hate it. Like I freaking hate it. So what do I do in training? I motivate, I do games, I've put cookies in the pile. I am always trying to like create it so that she's happier, wants to go out to the pile. But in essence, like that is who she is. Like that is actually who she is in life. That is how she is in my house. The dog is not a high arousal dog in life. Like she literally will be on the couch 24/7. Like she's not crazy in the house. She's not like that's just who she is and she's super careful in the house. Like she cares about everything in the house. If we raise our voices in the house, she like slinks off like we beat her. We've never beat her. So
Well,
this is my big thing with Ever right now is that like I need to be okay with her being in low arousal and I also need to learn to train her in low arousal
well,
because
that
that
yeah,
yeah,
that's the thing. So I think what happens is we go, and a lot of people do this, right? Um, and I've been thinking about this with Ever and meaning to like bring it up because it's kind of like for certain dogs when we're it's almost like not consciously we're using arousal, but we're really masking
mhm,
the underlying issue, right? We're it that's not so I realized last year at some point, I was like, okay, this is all great, the stuff I'm doing in training, but this is not how he is in the ring. Like I need to train him the way he is in the ring.
exactly.
And then I need to explain to him when you're in this state, that's okay, but you still need to either push through and, complete the task
Right,
or run out and run back, for example, right?
right.
So I said, okay. So I took him to a store and instead of bringing his meal and, doing all these shenanigans, I just brought my usual stuff, warmed him up, did my pretend ring entrance, what I always do, and like started working him, and he was exactly like in the ring, right? Which
Mhm.
I think there's several reasons for that. One is he just like Ever, not in life, but he desperately cares about being right. Doesn't matter that he never gets in trouble for making mistakes or anything like that. It is who he is. It's who Zeal was. Zeal would make a mistake, and I didn't even have to say anything because he's already going down a rabbit hole, like
Yep, that's Ever.
freaking out,
Yep.
right? So I would never say to him, like, you're wrong. With Zest, like, it's who he is. That's his personality. They don't want to be wrong. Okay, which means they're trying really hard. Well, what happens as a human when we try really hard? Well, we concentrate really hard and then we tend to slow down, right? Now add in distractions. So if I'm if we were recording this podcast, like, at Starbucks, I'm already concentrating hard. I would have to concentrate so much harder. I would probably be talking slower. I would lose train of my thought because it's distracting, right?
Right, right.
So, part of what happens with Zest is, like, and if you think about it, is he's basically doing calculus in a
Mhm.
distracting environment, right? And so is Ever. So now they really care about being right. They don't want to be wrong. There's stuff going on around them. They're like, oh God, I have to tune it out. Maybe they're not, maybe they're worried about it, maybe they're not. But either way, they have to think extra hard, which is
Mhm.
going to slow them down, right? And then I think what had happened was, like, I'm rehearsing so much in a different arousal state that I'm really not rehearsing and giving him information in the state that he is in when he's in a
Correct.
trial.
Correct.
So instead of in that moment when he starts to get flat, or whatever you wanna call it. I really shouldn't even label it. When he gets the way I don't like him to be, which because maybe he's not even being flat. Maybe it's just a matter of, like, intense concentration, right? Um,
Right.
that's where I have to give him information. This
Right.
is where I have to say to him, "Good job, buddy, that's correct." Even though
Yeah.
there's this little piece inside me that's like, "Oh, I freaking hate that. I wish he did it faster," whatever, that, like, evil monster inside me, right? So, and that doesn't mean that I'm still not on some level striving for that, but I just need to approach it very differently. And in the meantime, and maybe forever, who knows, I have to accept who he is and that this is how he works when he's in this situation specifically. So when
Mhm.
he's in that situation working like that, that's when I'm saying to him, "Okay, buddy, that was good," or, "Oh, buddy, um, that's not correct. Let's try that again. I don't care if it's not fast, but it has to be correct." So
Right.
now I'm working him in the state that he is actually
Right.
in now. Does that mean I never do play or toys or food? No. Does that mean I wasn't in my garage the other day doing, like, playing around with, like, doing maybe steady, like, silence to explosion and blah, 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 whatever. Yep, I was. Will that stuff work at some point? Possibly, right? It's why I'm endlessly tinkering because I always want to see, can I figure it out? But at the
Right.
end of the day, I've been thinking an enormous amount about the fact that, like, there is nothing wrong. I have to stop
Right.
in my head defining him trotting back as being wrong.
Right, and that's the same boat I I've been in with Ever, and it was so crazy because I had been in Syracuse last weekend, and I was going through all this with Ever. Like, it was like this roller coaster ride of 3 days of trialing with her, and, like, I was like, "It's good, it's not good. It's good, it's not going good." Like, it was horrible. And then driving home, I'm just like, I didn't, because you were like, "How's it going? What's going on?" And a couple other people, and I was like, I need I don't even know how to answer because I was like, I need to figure this out. Like, there is a way to fix this with this dog. Like, not that I'm looking for like the magic pill, but I'm like, I'm doing something wrong. Like, I'm approaching this incorrectly. And so I drove 4 hours thinking about it, going back with all the things, and then I came to the conclusion at the end of my ride, and I was just like, I have to be okay with her operating like that, and I need to, like you said, like, I need to, like, train her when she's like that. Like, I need to train her in those moments to try to, like, be able to work through it, like, so that in the ring I can work through it. Because what happens with Ever is, like, she'll start to get worried, like, literally I can see it on her face, like, and I can't help but get annoyed in my head. Like, it's in my head. I can't help it. I'm like, "Oh god," or I start to panic. Like, it's hard not to go there. And then I would be like, "All right." I would try to bring her up. Like, let me try to bring her up. Let me try to bring her up. Sometimes that would work and I would get her to come up a little bit, but or she'd come up and bark at me. So that was an issue because that's what happens in training. Like, I get her up and we bark and we go crazy and we bark, but I can't have her barking in the ring. So I'm just trying to figure out, I need to it's I don't even know how to explain it. It's like I'm trying to find that optimal
Well
balance, so the other day, so I got home.
well, hold on, let me just backtrack for a second, because what you told me earlier, which I think is super important, is that tell them what you've been doing with her since the classic, because if you really think about it,
Yeah, right, right,
it's
right.
training, but it's nothing like in the ring.
Right, nothing. So, since I've been home from the classic, like, absent-mindedly not paying attention, and this was, like, when I was, like, driving home from Syracuse, I'm like, "You're a fucking dumbass, like, everything you've been doing for the past 4 weeks since the classic has been nothing but stupid jackpot motivational games," like, literally. Not paying attention enough to making sure that I'm mindfully putting in like formal picture. I've just been doing tons of motivational stuff. So then I go to Syracuse and like that's the thing. Like I can't get her. We do tons of stuff in our training where she's spinning and barking and then like she'll do something great and I'm like, yes. You know how we are like when we're doing motivational training, like, well, we can't fucking do that at the trial, right? So
Well, it's
obvious.
different, but also, like, some dogs can't concentrate in that state of arousal, right? So,
Right,
like,
right.
Zeal, when he was learning, I used to try and make him, because that's how we did it back in the day, right? You teach everything fast, because if you don't teach it fast, they're going to be slow. And Zeal was like, nope, can't do it. Nope, can't do it. Like he refused. He's like, I cannot learn in that state. And I remember, I don't know, I may have said this on the podcast before, like I was at a store once doing signals and they were so hard for Zest back in the day, like so hard because he hated being out there by himself. So I'm like tugging, tugging, and then I'm like, let's do signals. And then he did it and I'm like, toy. And he's like, no, I don't want the toy.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah,
why don't you want the toy? Toy. And he's like, nope, I don't want the toy. And I'm
yeah,
like, shit, is he sick? Like, are you okay? Like, I'm trying to figure it out. And he's like, no, I'm good. And I'm like, "Huh." I'm like, "All right, let me do another rep and see, like, see if I think he's, like, not feeling good, like, what's going on." Does the rep beautifully. I go, "Yes." He wanted food because he's in lower arousal with food, and he's
mhm.
like, "I cannot do this activity that is so hard for me and requires so much concentration and effort. I can't do it in high arousal." So, like, when you were saying how in the ring, because I had this with Zeal, and it's the same with Zest. He goes flat, and I start going, "Come up, come up, come up." And he's like, "Nope, nope,
Yeah,
nope, not coming up, can't do it." And then
right.
I'm like, "Shit." Right? And then what I did with Zeal, I learned, was I did the complete something that's completely counterintuitive, which is he would get nervous and I would give him my calm cue. Say, "What?" He would be flat and nervous. Well, the calm cue was actually reassuring and he's anxious. So it was helping control his anxiety.
Mhm.
Right. And I was basically it was saying to him, "It's all right, buddy. You're fine. I got you. You're good, dude. You're fine." And it worked like a freaking charm. Right.
Well, that's exactly what I'm doing with Ever. Like, because when she goes down like that, I know she then goes, "Oh god, I know I'm not supposed to be acting like this," because I'm sure she's felt my annoyance and like aggravation with that. And it just makes everything worse with her. So now I am giving her, like, this is what I'm like starting to put in my training. Like, when she starts to look a little worried, right? I am like, we're trying all different kinds of things. Like, this is what we do. We got to, this is what we do in training, right? So I'm like, I bend down to her and I like pet her, and she is like, fucking thank fucking God. Like, like, the relief on this dog just for me to bend down for that quick second and just pet her and let her go through my legs. I can feel she's like, "Thank fucking God." And then I go, "Okay, set up." And she's like, "Okay, good. I'm ready now." Like, it's been I don't know if it's going to hold up. I'm
You're
trialing tomorrow, so I'm going to
you're
let y'all
telling
fucking know, but
you're telling her it's okay. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
and so in essence, I do think sometimes, like, they even though I'm saying, "Zesty, bounce, bounce," like, to him, there's probably, like, a little bit of there could be some pressure in there that he's feeling. Whether or not we
Yep.
intend it or not, they could be feeling pressure, and then they feel then that's a negative thing to them, right?
Well,
Versus
especially these dogs because they
right,
care so much about being right. So if he
yeah,
can't bounce in the moment, he's gonna go, "Oh, fuck, I can't do it. Oh,
right.
fuck, I'm
So
making a mistake
instead,
again."
we're saying, "It's okay. You're
Yep.
fine. You're
Yep.
doing a good job. It's all good. Let's
Yep.
just keep going." Right? And move on.
Exactly.
And, um, look, will it work tomorrow? Maybe, maybe not, because you
Right.
just started doing that, right? Like,
Right.
we have to be fair and say, okay, like, maybe it will work right away, but maybe we just need more time to put
Put
that
it
in
in.
training and make that part of a chain, right? Because, um, like what I found with Zest at the time too was when the chain was a little longer, he would start to get worried, like, "Oh God, am I doing everything okay? Am I doing everything right?" And I would just have to be like, "Yeah, buddy, you're doing good, really good. You're okay." Sometimes they just need us to just say, "It's all good. You're
You're
fine.
fine.
Let's keep going." Right?
Yep.
Rather than us trying so hard to say, "Come on, bounce," whatever cues we use to get them up because we want them up. And these dogs may or may not ever be those super flashy dogs that look like they're having a blast in the ring, not because they're necessarily miserable, but because they're trying so hard.
Right.
Like,
Right.
they're trying so hard. And it doesn't matter like how much I set my training up so that they're successful and that they're right and that I'm building confidence and we're like, "You're great, you're doing amazing." Like, I do think like over time, I do see Zesty getting better over time, right? But like at some point, I just have to be like, it's okay. Like, you trotted back from your articles, it's fine. Like, it's
Mhm.
fine. Just
Mhm.
because I want you to run and then bounce and then your ears to be like, this is how you do it,
Right.
in this environment. And again, it's not like we're not going to keep trying to motivate and keep it fun and blah, blah, blah. But, um, and there's also, like I said, there's value to them because we were taught back in the day, and that's still kind of a thing, right? Because again, yay social media, right? All you see, you don't see videos of dogs doing workman-like work, right? You
Mhm.
see dogs flying fast, um, throwing themselves to the ground, leaping into a sand, spinning, jumping. That's sexy. It's fancy. And then everybody feels like if we don't have that, we're failing. Right?
Right.
Like, our dog sucks, it's sucky. Like, I just went through this with a student. It's not the first time, right? She has a dog very similar to Zesty. Cares to this what poor woman turns herself inside out for a happy dog, right? And the dog's very serious. and it's very thoughtful, and it does not want to be wrong. And
Mhm.
all she's doing in a way inadvertently is muddying the waters for the dog, right? And
Mhm.
making herself so frustrated because you feel like a failure because you're not making your dog quote unquote happy.
Happy.
The reality is based on the breed, based on the dog's personality, based on who this dog is, it is doing the best it can.
Right.
And that is the way it looks, and it's not wrong. And it doesn't mean the dog is unhappy or the dog is miserable or she's a bad trainer or the training's not fun. That's just who the
Who
dog
that
is.
dog is. Yeah. Yeah. That is. And there are. I mean, there is I mean, there's a couple dogs out there, one in particular, that's got like literally like Och 37 on it. And the dog like is just clocks around the ring and wins because it just does its job and it's not flashy and it's not fast, and that's just who the dog is. Like that's just who the dog is. The
And I think it's our reading too. It's like in our mind, I know I do. I'll speak for myself. I have an image that if my dog is this is how my dog looks when it's quote unquote happy. And that's how I want it to look in the ring.
Yep.
If it doesn't look like that, it is unhappy, therefore I failed. But maybe my dog is not unhappy. Maybe my dog is just no different than when I'm in the ring and I look pissed off. That's just I'm not.
No,
I
I know you're not. I know you're not.
but try to convince other people of that. I'm sure they wouldn't believe it because that is absolutely how I look when I'm concentrating really
Really
hard,
hard.
right? So
Right.
maybe part of this is we're misinterpreting, like, we have created this absolute happy, not happy. That's
Well,
it, like
that's the thing. Like, so when I'm standing there and I see Ever out there at the article pile, right? And she's like literally, I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, literally tiptoeing through the pile. Like she's working. She goes to each one. Like it is so painfully slow. And I'm in my head, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like it's hard not to. But like the past couple days, I sent her out to her articles and I'm just like, this is how my dog sends her articles.
mhm.
This is how she works her articles. Will it get better? Maybe. But as long as she does her job and brings it back, and this is how she does it, it's fine. Like, that's what, like these are the things I'm trying to get in my head. Um, and I can't like exude any of those emotions because she's going to pick up on it. Like, the dog reads my face. Like the second she comes back
300%.
for front, she's looking at me and I can tell like she's scanning for any sort of like emotional disappointment in my face. Um,
Yeah, so it's like it's just a mind shift, right? And it's
it is a
it's
mind shift.
hard. Like it's really hard. And I do think like with the whole arousal thing too, like a lot of times we're trying so hard and I see a lot of people do this like the minute they see something that they don't like with their dog or they're not sure with their dog or the dog looks slightly uncomfortable, grab the toy, make the dog frantic. And then
Yeah,
but in essence, I think what we're a lot of times doing is we're just masking what's underneath it. We're not really addressing the issue
exactly.
and we're not
Exactly.
meeting the dog where the dog is. We're trying to force the dog to be something and do something that they're not comfortable doing. So the irony is, in our attempt to make the dog happy and comfortable, we're probably making it uncomfortable.
Right. Right. And that's what causes like the failure, like for real.
God.
It is. It does. Like, that's what's going on right now with Ever and I. Like, that's what I'm trying to work through for sure. And like all the things, and that's the thing, like, even when like so the past couple days of training, like I'm trying to also like do everything. I want to like replicate so much that like all of my I want to be able to tell her how right and how good she's being in a legal way and in a bridge version of it where I can't use a reinforcer. You know what I mean? Like that's my other thing is my new thing is like I'm doing this like wow. Like that's like that. Remember we talked about that? Like coming up
Yeah,
with a
doing the
word.
wow
Yeah.
as a, gambling cue or whatever.
Yeah. And that really has helped. I mean, in the past 3 or 4 days even. And being able to, like, tell her you're on the right track. It doesn't matter that you were a little slow. You're doing fine. And she's like, I'm seeing like this dog is like, oh God, thank God. Thank God you're okay with that. I think she was like, that's what's like half our problem was like she was interpreting when she went down like that, then she was attaching like I must be this is wrong. And that's
Mhm.
when like it would just go spiral downward. And that's when we'll fail in exercise.
Yeah,
Because
because instinct is, "Come on, come up, bring the dog
yep,
up, bring the dog up." Our instinct is not
yep,
to say, "Good dog.
yep,
That's it. You're fine." "Wait, what do you mean you're fine? You just did that slow as molasses. I hated it." Right?
right.
So, no, like, it's good dog. That was really good. Good job. Let's go. Like, so maybe that's it doesn't have to be any more complicated than that, right? That's what I did with Zeal at the when I finally figured it all out. I would just look down, exercise finish, and I would just go, "Good boy.
Yep,
Good boy." Right? And, like, hold his head, and then I'd move to the next position. If I sat him down and he was like, "Huh, huh, huh," I just squeeze his head and I'd go, "Good.
yep,
Good dog." And even Zaina, sometimes I'll see in her face, she's like she gets a little worried or stressy. Something all of a sudden bothers her. Right?
mm-hmm,
And in that moment, I used to do all this other stuff and that no, I just go, "Good girl, good." Boom, it's fascinating, she instantly slaps out of it.
yeah,
Like,
because
I
they're
just
like,
go
oh good, thank God. Like
yep,
that's
I
a
just go, "Good
yep,
girl, good girl." Literally, that is all I do. And she goes, "Oh, okay." And then boom, she's back and off we go, and I continue on as if nothing ever happened, right? So, that's what I think, and that's what I did with Zeal, I mean, I'm sorry, Zesty, like, I showed a couple times or whatever. So the first class, I hated. And then the second class, I was like, "All right, stop trying so hard, just whatever." And I was just like, "Right here, good boy." That's it. That's all we did. Right here, pay attention, good boy. Right?
mhm,
Because the other tricky thing is with Zesty, he looks like he's going to die in two separate scenarios. One when he's trying so hard that smoke's coming out of his ears, and the other, though, is if he's distracted and kinda not giving me as much effort to ignore the distractions as he should.
mhm,
But in that situation, like, I never interpret it as that because I'm like, "Oh, poor dog. Oh, are you okay, buddy? Oh god." And sometimes I just need to be like, "Dude, leave that alone, pay attention." And then he's like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Really? You just faked me out." Like, you totally tricked me, right? So, but I don't even have to do anything crazy with him because, again, at the end of the day, he wants to be right, right? So I just go, "Right here, pay attention." And then I
yeah,
go, "Good, that's it." And then that's what I did the second class and, the next day, it wasn't the exact whatever, the next time I went in the ring, and it was night and day better, right? And did he run back on every single exercise? No. Do I wish he did? Yes. Do I accept that he didn't? Yes. Right? Did I go back and look at my videos and you know what? Zeal tried it sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes.
Yep.
Tyler always tried it back from articles in part, and I think he tried it to them too, because he was so big and the article
Yeah.
was never that far.
Yeah,
And
like, why
it
bother?
never crossed my mind like, "Oh, I wish he would run," right? Like, but at some point, I decided the dog should run and the dog like, and same with the articles, like Zesty I mean, I started doing nose work with him. He is a machine. Like,
Mhm.
it's fascinating. Does he do his articles like that? No. I'm like, "Dude,
Right.
what are you doing?" Sniff each same like ever, sniff each article. I'm like, You don't need to do that." Right? I've done thousands of games, like a million things. He goes in the ring, runs sometimes trots out, does his articles. I'm like, "Oh my god, trots back," right? So, maybe that's how he'll do his articles forever, and maybe I just have to accept that, like, he doesn't do them wrong, he doesn't pick
Right.
up the wrong article, he doesn't fumble, he does nothing wrong, right? Like, there's nothing scorable in what he's doing. It's just like and so I stopped taking pressure off that. Like, I
Right,
have to
right.
mentally take pressure off myself
Yep,
and him. I have to stop in the ring. I have to just be like, good boy, that's good.
yep,
Regardless. In training, sure, I can still try, but maybe it'll change down the road. Maybe it won't, right? But
right,
either
right.
way, it's not I think the big takeaway is it's not that he's miserable or unhappy or that we're failing as trainers because we care that our dogs whether or not our dogs are happy, right? Sometimes it's just who the dog is.
I think so too. I think that's a big piece of it because I think, we definitely we inadvertently put the pressure on when we want it to be a certain way and then we get like a little bit of, that like obsession thing going where like I can figure this out. I can make it faster. What else can I do? What solution is out there to make the dog run out, run back? And, absentmindedly, we're just kind of putting added pressure on, Like I even today, like I trained Ever and I like had 2 sets of piles of articles out. So I went and did 2 articles, normal stuff, her normal trotted out, ears back, did her little dainty sniff, 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 grabs the article, and, like, she picks the article up, like, she doesn't even fly back, like, she picks it up, like, there's always a second of, like, "Oh my god, is she gonna fucking come back?"
Mhm.
And then she does, and she trots back, hits her front, I take it, finish, boom. Like, nothing is scoreable about it, but, of course, like, in our heads, we're like, "Oh my god, the dog," and I've literally been at trials and people come out, they're like, "What's up with your articles?" And I'm like, "I've never corrected the dog in an article pile."
I
Like,
know,
I don't know
and
what to say.
that's the thing, right? Like, we've never corrected them, we don't get on their case, we don't harass them for fronts, like, we do everything motivational, and I
Yeah,
think part of it then, like well, I know for me that's part of it, I'll be in the ring and I'm like, "People are gonna think, like, what the hell like, I beat my dog or that I harassed the shit out of my dog," or, you know, and I'm like and it's like, I have to stop thinking like that. Like,
yeah.
I just have to think
It's who
about
they are. It's who they
who is
are.
my dog and how is this dog working? And like, even in training, like, it's so crazy. Like, thank God, like the two people I train with now, like once or twice a week. Like, I don't know, the other day I was healing and I'm like, is his head high enough? I need to get his head higher. I don't hit, and they both go, his head is very high. And I go, okay, I'm being crazy. Like that was the way of saying like
Don't.
you're going off the cliff, right? So, and I said to them, and because I feel like I'm like, okay, I acknowledge out loud I have a problem. Like I'm always like, can it be better? Can I do more? So,
Right.
they hold me accountable, right?
That's
Like
good.
it's fine. Like it's okay. Like My dog runs to the go out at a child, canters like all the way out, no hint of slowing down, no hint of anticipation. And I'm like, is that fast enough? Like, is he going to start slowing down? I got, my God, like, stop.
I know, and, I was thinking, like, I don't know, I'm, like, so I did our articles today, and then I went and did some other stuff, and then I went to the other pile, and the whole time I'm like, every time she did one, I'm like, "That was so good, buddy. Wow." Leaned down, rubbed her. She was like, "Oh, really? Oh, good. Like, all right." So by the time I got to my like third or fourth article, she was going out like I could see like the weight was lifted off this dog. She's trotting out. Like, was she fast? No. But I could just tell like she was like, her tail wagged a little bit, went out, immediately found it, picked it up, trotted back, super happy. And I feel like it's like the same like, I feel like they feel it from us. Like, it'd be like you walking in the room and I told you to like to go like clean something and I'm like watching you do it and you turn around, you're like, "Why the fuck are you watching me like that? Am I doing it wrong?" Like, we do to them.
Yeah. And
You know what
I
I
think
mean?
that, right. Yeah, they read that, but
They feel
I also
it.
think that sometimes we're trying too hard. Like maybe she, right? Maybe to her, you just calmly saying, "Good girl, that was really nice." Maybe that's more reinforcing to her than you going, "Yes," and whipping
Yeah,
out the tooth and putting her into a frenzy or, "Yip, yip, yip, yip,"
exactly.
throwing the cookies. Maybe she doesn't find that as reinforcing
Enforcing.
as you just calmly saying to her, "Wow, Ever, that was that was really good," right? Like, because we get
Yeah.
so caught up in our head that this is what dogs find reinforcing. But again, all dogs are not the same. Like I had a student once, it was the most fascinating thing I've ever seen. And same thing. She had a dog, like, it was just worry, 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 right? She's very much like us, very, like, high energy. So, she would do something with the dog and she'd go, "Yes! Good girl! Blah, 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 blah." And the dog would go, "Oh God, oh God, oh God."
Mhm. Mhm.
So, sends me the videos, right? I go, "All right." I go, "I want you to praise her in silence." "What do you mean in silence?" "In silence." "Well, what do I do?" And then people think they have to do, like, cartwheels and stuff. I go, "Nope. Act exactly the same way as you would when you're talking. Just say the words in your head. Don't
Right.
talk. Don't do anything different. Just don't talk." Night and freaking day. Unbelievable difference. Immediate. Immediate. Not like after a few sessions, like immediate.
Yeah.
Like so happy, so relaxed, so responded completely different. So this whole time she thinks she's reinforcing the dog. She's actually doing something the dog finds averse, like not necessarily aversive, but uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
And she did something completely toned down, and the dog's like, "Oh, I love this. You're," and the dog read that as praise. So I do that a fair amount now because I feel like people try so hard, and then that
Yeah.
comes across as pitchy and pressure. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, no, do it in silence. And for a fair number of dogs, I shouldn't say fair, like quite a large number of dogs, that makes a very
Huge difference.
significant difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm seeing in Ever too, because 'cause I'm like, I used to be like, "Yes," "Bounce, blah,
Mhm.
blah, blah," and, like, she'd get high, she would, like, react to it, but th I don't know, like, now that I'm, like, doing this, like, "That was so good. What a good girl," and I bend down, and I put my hands on her. She gets all gooey and loves that, like, I can just tell, like, she loves it, like, loves it, loves it, loves it. And then, like, I'm like, "Ready, buddy? Let's go. Set up." And she's like, "Okay, I'm ready." Again, I don't know if this is gonna hold up, but I'm definitely trying it because I'm feeling like she likes that so much better. She's finding, like, relief in it. She's finding that to be that communication of like, "Oh, everything's good. I'm doing okay." She just is feeling so much better by that. So,
Well, it may just take some time
yeah,
because you're changing the picture, right? Like,
totally.
and but you're so she's like, "Oh, we go in the ring and it's like this," and now you're changing it. So sometimes, depending on the dogs, if they're literal, they'll get a little confused, like, "Wait, I'm not sure what's happening here." Like, it's different.
Yep.
Doesn't mean it's not going to work down the
Right.
road. It may not work right away, or maybe you'll see maybe it will, like, who knows, right? But,
Right.
because I do see, like, a lot of times with people, they try something and, then it doesn't work right away, and they're like, "It didn't work." Like, I told her, "I really wish you would write a blog about it." One of my students, uh it's actually the same student I just talked about with this dog that was really nervous, and, anyway, she had recently shown me a recent video of her at a trial, and I was like, "Holy." It was stunning the difference in the dog, right? And I said, "Well, what did you do that was different?" Well, A, she did a whole list of things. I was thinking like, "Oh, she's gonna tell me I did X thing." Oh, no, no. It was a long list of things. And some of them she started like a year. She had been working on for over a year, right? So
Wow.
all these things together worked profoundly, but it wasn't a quick fix, right? And I was like, this
Right.
is
Right.
such a good lesson that
Yeah.
A, she's coming at it from a bunch of different angles. B, she's being creative and thinking outside the box. C, she's taking things and not just giving up on them. She's like, nope, I'm going to slowly, carefully work on this over a long period of time. Um, you know, to see if
Right.
I can change the impact. And, so it was just, like, such a good email, like, the whole thing, I was like, this is dog training in a nutshell, right? Like, of
Totally.
where you have to come at it from a bunch of different ways. You have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to try all these different things and try them over a long period of time and not just throw it out the window right away because it didn't work.
Right,
Um,
right. Yeah. Well, and that's my thing, like, even this weekend, like, tomorrow, like, I'm going, what is today? Where are we? Friday? Yeah, tomorrow I'm trialing. So, it's like, I don't care about anything else. Like, I'm going to, like, I wanna work through some of this. Like, I just trialed Ever last weekend in a 3-day trial, and I'm gonna use this day as just I wanna work through some of this stuff. I wanna see if I can help her in the ring with this new thing I'm doing, and I'm fine with whatever happens. Like, I'm totally fine with it. So, I'm willing to take time with it. Like, I'm willing to see, like, if it doesn't work, if it didn't hold up. I mean, literally, I've only been doing it for this week since I've been back.
that's what I mean, yeah.
I'm gonna keep going, and the next trial, I'm gonna do the same thing. Like, I am seeing it in training. Like, I'm seeing it definitely work in training. Um, so I gotta give it time for sure. Definitely.
Yeah. And, God, no, I think there's so much here and it's all just really important. Like, and I just wrote a blog on it too, because, I think so many people struggle with this with like expectations that we put on ourselves, that stuff we see on social media, stuff like people say, and then just, you know, different breeds. Like, I told this story in the blog, like, so my first, lab that I competed with was a breed lab, right? And, so I knew nothing, and so I was teaching this dog a drop on recall, right? And, like, I'm in class, this is decades ago, and they're like, "Why are you unhappy with that drop?" I'm like, "Because I want him to drop like that border collie." Okay, physically, a clunky lab, it cannot drop like a border collie. Like, border collies are bred to just be standing and just go floop down to the
Yep.
ground.
Yep.
And they laughed at me, and which, maybe wasn't the nice thing, but and they were like, "What like, you basically, like, you knucklehead, like, it doesn't work like that. You have a breed lab, right?" So, like, every dog, every breed is not going to be able to work, like, running fast, doing this, I mean, picking the dumbbell up, flipping around and flying back, like, you know, um, so it's certain breeds and it's certain personalities, which is not to make it an excuse like, "Oh, well, my dog can't do that."
Right.
It doesn't mean we shouldn't keep trying,
Right.
but at the same time, we may have to look at this dog that's in front of us in this moment and be like, "This is how this dog works when
Works.
they're working to the best of their ability."
Right.
And
That's
that's not a reflection of us or our training or the dog in a negative way, like that they're not trying. Um, you know, because, people, one or two people have said, well, Zessy's not putting enough effort in, you know? And I think it's the opposite. I'm like, dude, just freaking relax. Would you just relax already? Like,
right.
he's trying too hard. He's putting too much,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so yeah. And it's a
Yeah.
never ending process.
It's a never-ending process. It isn't, but I think this was a great conversation to have because and it was funny because literally I was driving like when I got home and then I don't even know when you posted that post about Zesty. I was like, "Oh my god, like that is freaking crazy." Because that was like like the conclusion I came to driving home from Syracuse.
Yeah,
Oh
well, we
my god.
started talking about it before the podcast, just you and me talking, and then we're like, "Wait, we should be recording this because this is like,
Yeah, needs to be.
yeah," and it's something that I think, so unless you have that, like Zaina, because she doesn't care about the environment, she doesn't care about the judge, and she doesn't care if she's wrong. So
Right.
that brings it with it its own set of challenges, but, like, that's why she looks so happy. Like, we do all these distraction things, sorry, these super hard challenges, right? And we set it up and we're all like, "Oh, this is hard." And then I get Zaina out and everybody almost simultaneously before I even start says the same thing. She's not gonna care. And
Yep.
we do it and she does not care one iota. Like, she thinks it's hilarious. She's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, you stupid humans. Like,
Idiots.
you can't mess me up. Like, I know what to do." All
Yep.
the other dogs are like, "Oh, okay, can't look, can't do that," or, "Oh." No, she's just like, "Oh, this is hilarious." Like, "Oh, look, you guys put that in the pile. You think you're so clever." Right? Because she doesn't fucking care.
She doesn't care. She doesn't. And there's dogs like that. There are some dogs like that,
And there
you
are
know?
some dogs that are just happy-go-lucky that maybe they do care, but not like, it doesn't make them kind of flat, right? They're just like, "Okay, la 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 la." Like,
Right.
that's who they are, you
Right.
know?
That's who
And,
they are.
I mean, I've seen dogs that where I'm like, that trainer, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but like doesn't do a lot of motivational stuff, just like trains pretty basic. And the happy dog's like, la, 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 la. Oh, this is fun in the ring. And there's a part of you that like wants to pull your hair out, right? But it's the personality.
It is.
It's who that dog is,
It
right?
is. Yeah, it is. And I really think, I mean, I think like the dog, like those, the dog, I mean, we've talked about this too. Like dogs, those independent dogs that really don't give a shit. Like those are the dogs that, like, even in your pet life, don't give a shit, Zaina. I mean, that, you know what I mean? Like those are the dogs that may also, like, they don't care enough to really be precise all the time. You know what I mean? Like that comes with those kinds of dogs. Like you've talked about that. Like the dog is animated, she's happy, she's fast, but there's times where she's just like, good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they just said it yesterday in training, right? My one training partner, she's like, she looks at me like, because we were doing all this hard stuff, and Zaina's like, yeah, 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 yeah. Happy as a clam, right? And she looks at me and she goes, it really is a shame. That's all she said, because she knows, right? And I know. Because what she meant is it's such a shame that she doesn't really care or
Yeah.
time or like she'll care for like 95% of the class and then she'll just be like, "Oh, what's over there?"
Yeah.
And or, whatever. And she's like, because she would be unbeatable. If she even cared like a little bit, she would be unbeatable.
Right.
She would be freaking amazing cuz she's like come around to being pretty darn good. Like I'm not trying to constantly throw shade on her. Like she's been working unbelievably well, right?
She has.
But
She
it's
has.
just, like, hilarious, like and I said to her, I said, "You know what?" A couple years ago, I said, "I accepted who she is." I said, "And I'm glad I have because it's made our relationship so much better. I don't get frustrated.
Well,
I
that's gonna be the same with you and Zesty. It's the
Yeah,
same
like,
thing.
I don't get upset with her anymore because, like,
It's
this
who she
is
is.
who she is. And for
Exactly.
who she is giving me her best effort and then some, because
Yep.
quite frankly, leave it up to her, she'd be doing everything with artistic interpretation. Like, I think this exercise would be better if I did it this way. Don't you agree? And she would look out at the audience, waiting for them to applaud for her, right? Um, but so she's working beyond her natural ability in my mind, right? Just like at some point in Zeal's career, I accepted who he was, right? And that's where I'm coming around with Zesty, where I'm like,
Same. Same.
this is who he is, right? And just because in life, like when I hike him, he's a raving lunatic, and I'm like, "Why can't he be like that?"
Right.
This is who he is, and this is how he works, and he's giving me the very best he can. And I think more really, I have to be honest, I get more frustrated with myself, not with the dog. I feel like I'm failing, like I'm doing something wrong, like I'm not a good enough trainer, like there's something wrong with me that I can't
Mhm.
figure it out, that I
Mhm.
can't make this dog faster, that I can't make this dog quote unquote happier, more relaxed, that I can't achieve that end picture. So really at the end of the day, it's all me. It's me being upset with me for not being able to achieve what I want to achieve when really I should just be like, I am doing the best I can and
Mhm.
he's doing the best he can. And that's just what it is.
Yeah. That's exactly. And I think when we can kind of get our mind shifted in that direction, I think that it's going to just get better. I do. I really do.
Well,
And
yeah, well,
maybe that and that takes the pressure off. So maybe that's just how the dog's going to work from here on out. And they work successfully like that,
oh,
you
yeah.
know? I mean, look what Zesty's accomplished. I mean, that's crazy. The freaking dog is, like, unbelievable. So, that has to be taken into account, you know what I mean? It's not like you have a dog that looks like sometimes he's not as fast and flashy or confident looking in the ring, but he's doing his job to, like, the standard of winning national freaking tournaments. Like, that says a lot, you know what I mean?
No, I know, and I don't want people to think like, "Oh, it's like you're never happy." Like, the people that really, really know me get it. It's not
Yeah,
that I'm not
right.
happy with what he's accomplished or what he's done or what he's doing or any of that. It's that thing of, like, where I want my end goal is that I want a dog in the ring that's happy and that looks happy and relaxed and confident, but I think that what I'm learning is that, like, it doesn't even mean he's not confident, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just
Exactly.
means, like, he's being thoughtful or careful or whatever, so it's just me being so obsessed with, "Oh god, the poor dog.
Yep.
Oh god, I don't want him to be happy. I don't unhappy." Like, I love this dog so much, like, sometimes I can't even talk about how much I love him because I start to cry. I get, like, choked
Aw, that's how I
like,
get too. I love
as
it.
a person, see, this is what I'm saying, as a person, like, he just everything about this dog, forget what he does in the ring, like, I love him. He loves me, like, it's ridiculous, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade him for anything under the sun, and I'm happy with him with how he works no matter what, like, it's because of that I don't and I went through the same thing with Zaina. There was a long period where where she looked miserable in the ring, and she was worried and stressed, and, like, I had to figure a lot of stuff out with her. And I hated that just as much because I love them, and I don't want them to be unhappy
Right.
in the
Right.
ring, you
Right.
know? But I
Yeah.
think what I'm
Reading.
realizing is that what I'm interpreting as unhappy is not necessarily unhappy.
Right. Right. I agree. I agree. Because I think, you know, I I think that when you talked about that time you were in the store with the whole tug thing and the arousal, I think that's a thing. Like, what arousal state are do they need to be working in to be optimal? You know what I mean? That could be different for every dog. Like, Ever looks like she's slinking around, but that a lot of that just could be where she's at and with her operating arousal state to be effectively and efficiently working. Does it look great? No. Is it her optimal? I don't know. Could we make it better? Maybe. But I have to be okay with some of what I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
that's
we
what
have
my
to be
point
able to
is
say that
like
she's doing the best she can
exactly.
for who
Exactly.
she is at that moment in time,
Right.
right? And again, it's that whole thing where you're like, "But oh my god, like I do like cuz I know how you train. You do so much motivation, so much confidence building for years. And
Mhm.
then we get that in the ring, and then we feel like we're failing again. Like
Mhm.
what are we doing wrong? You know? And like maybe part of it is maybe we're trying too hard. You know, maybe we shouldn't be doing that much drive building per se. Cause I will say like sometimes with Ever, when she gets high, she sounds a little frantic to me. Do you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like
Yeah.
frenetic, not
Yeah.
happy high, but like anxious high. With Zesty, sometimes he'll tug with aggression, and sometimes I'm like, "Come on, buddy, tug." Like, coercing him into
Mhm.
tugging, And then I stopped doing that. I was like, "All right, you know what? You don't wanna tug? Fine, we're not gonna tug." Like, we're not gonna tug. I'll use food. You like food. You work great for food. I'll use food. And then sometimes he's like, "Toy," and he tugs like a lunatic. So I have to let him make that choice, right? Like,
Mhm.
I have to stop trying to be like, I want you to tug and I want you to tug more because I want more arousal because I want you to work faster. Well, now I'm not being a good teammate. I'm not listening. He's saying, for whatever reason, at that moment, on that day, doing whatever I'm doing with him, that he doesn't want to tug.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So that, finally I'm like, okay, like, well, I have in the past bailed on that and did food, but it would always bother me because there's this part of me that's like, you're failing because you haven't made his tug drive strong enough, or you're bailing and just, caving and giving him food or whatever. But I've been watching it more and more carefully, and it's just like I think sometimes he's like, no, I can't do my work
When I get in that
in
state.
that arousal state,
Right.
or
Right.
for whatever reason, he's like, I would rather have food as a reinforcer,
Right.
um, at right now than that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm doing with Stormy too, because she is that dog is high arousal. She lives in high arousal
Mhm.
24/7. And I gotta watch like, she wants the toy. Like, that's her ultimate reinforcer. But I can't use that reinforcer all the time because she can't think and she makes mistakes when
Mhm.
she's like that.
Yeah.
So I use the food because the food actually is it causes her to come down actually. The reinforcers keeps her in a more manageable arousal state. So there's something to be said with that for sure.
Yeah. Good. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad we decided to record this. No,
Yeah.
because I think it's
No.
really good. Like, and
Yeah.
honestly, it's good for me. It's good for me to just like hash that out, right? Like, which is why we started
Totally.
talking about it before we started recording, because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we need to talk things through and hash things out and constantly work on, having a better understanding of our dogs and what we're trying to do, recognize I always have to recognize my weaknesses, right? Like, or m my tendencies and rein them in, right?
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
adjust them or modify them.
Yeah.
Um,
Or be able to look at it from a different angle, like that's a big one. That was my whole thing. Like driving home, I'm just like, I gotta look at this from every other side. Like what is going on? Like that's the big thing. Like, and that's just figuring out training stuff. It's never ending, never ending.
Never ending, and then you get another dog and you think like, "I've had so many different dogs, surely by now I have the answer." And then the next dog is completely different, and then you have a whole 'nother different set of challenges,
Yep.
and you're back to square one.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. It's true.
That's why I don't know how as a trainer you could ever have a big ego, because I sure as heck don't, because
I don't
all
either. Oh
my
my
dogs
god.
do is keep, like, knocking me down, like,
Yep.
"Lady, you don't know anything." Like, "You
Yep.
think you know? No,
Yep.
you don't know."
And it's hard. Like there's, like it can get like where you're just feeling like, "Oh my god, what is wrong with me as a dog trainer?" Like you can easily go there, but you know, that's
But
just
it's
why I
also
love doing what I'm
because
doing.
we're trying, because we really care about our dogs, like, emotional state and their headspace and all that. We're not just like, "I don't care what you look like or how you do it, just do it and get it done," right?
Mhm.
Um, like, we care, and sometimes maybe we care a little bit too much. We
A
we
little
go
bit.
over the cliff, and then we have to, like, rein ourselves back in.
Yeah.
and it's a never-ending process. But anyway,
Never
um,
ending. All right,
thanks
this was good.
thanks everybody. Thanks again, everybody that comes up and mentions that they listen to the podcast. We really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
And they
love
tell
it.
us, like, they're telling other people about it. So I wanted to say thank you to
Yep.
everybody for that. We really appreciate it. And that's it for today. So
Yeah,
happy training.
awesome. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.